Hey, Larry, we're live.
Oh, hey! Welcome to Hang Out in the Crib. I am the BP professor, and I used to be known as a numbers guy, but I'm not a number guy anymore. And anyway,
Does that mean you don't know the number of beers you've had? Is that what you're saying?
this is my first beer of the evening.
All right.
Yeah, so we had a bounty over the weekend, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And a bunch of TLCs released this week, and Kixeye screwed up the start of the FM again, which, because if you're going to do it one week, might as well do it the next week in the same way, right?
Hey, Larry.
Yes.
You're costing us our bread and butter. You're skipping ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just giving the summary, the teaser. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Sorry. I'm super excited or something. And I'm drinking Goose Island IPA.
Well, Raptor had a good Raptor guessed that in the chat a little bit before we went live that you were getting an IPA. So I don't know if we've gotten predictable or he's just
I don't know.
clairvoyant.
Because, I mean, if you're drinking trendy beer, IPA is a pretty good guess, but I try not to just stick with IPAs because I do like richer beers.
Is IPA even trendy anymore? I mean, IPA was trendy 15 years ago. Aren't like the sour beers trendy now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't like the sour ones.
Yeah, I've tasted a couple. They're not, they don't do much for me.
All right. Well, I'll start the slides.
Okay.
Because that's what I do. And let's roll.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I didn't introduce everybody. We got Hefe.
Howdy, everybody.
And George.
Evening, everybody.
And Holsch.
Hope you all are having a good day.
All right. Now that's everybody. I'm the BP professor. Okay, so bug fixes. We've got bug fixes. What do we have? NPC bases had both Scourge webs active. NPC bases were already damaged when being spawned. I saw that a lot. It seemed like portals were often damaged.
Yeah, because of the long repair time. But the one above, that was a pain in the ass because it would have both the slowdown and the corrosive damage. So if you try to bring a regular slot through those, it was dying really, really fast.
Yeah. So it's good they fixed it after Bounty's over.
Well, at least they paid attention.
I'm sure these problems won't come back next time.
Well, they might have tested it before, but whatever.
All right, so Icebreaker and Mono tokens were not working for their retrofitted hulls, so neat. Certain expedition cards were not respecting fleet permissions.
Yeah, I did a slide on this, or a couple slides on this last show.
Okay.
If you watched it, I was letting you bring in gluttonies, and I had some screenshots of that we had last show. So yeah, it was not a paying attention to the rules. So so it was not respecting the fleet permissions.
Not
man, it seems like somebody's come back from the grave with the way some of these things are written. But I'm not going to mention any names besides Yoda.
Sounds like somebody needs to be grounded. They've been bad.
Yes.
Respect my authority.
Yes.
Okay. Siege missile pass-through is now being delayed to displayed. One would think that I've had a lot more beers than I've had, apparently. And fixed users that were in a bad state with their R&D objectives. So maybe we're not sure where those users were, but apparently Hefe looked it up from U.S. News and World Report, and maybe they were in one of these bad states.
It's potential. I'm not sure how that impacts their R&D objectives, but You know, it's I'm surprised New Mexico's been in there. Maybe does that have anything to do with Breaking Bad?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Let's see. Last in education.
The other three.
Near last in crime. So, yeah. I mean, when a beloved fast food chain can actually be a front for drug distribution, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, but quality. I need to do some more research on quality of life being so high. At the same time, with all this rest of the stuff being so low,
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into. We need to really define things.
If you're educated and healthy and you have money, and then you move there, like maybe it's pretty great, but don't have kids. I don't know.
Yeah, and you have a castle and you have like a moat around your house. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, are we done making fun of other parts of the United States?
Well, yeah, if I went up a couple, never mind. Yeah, we can move on.
Okay. Live Rampage. Rampage will be on the Facebook instead of Facebook on a Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
the best
Friday,
5 minutes you ever had.
Friday at 2 p.m. on Rampage Reports. I assume that's 2 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
Yes.
So does the new hull have epilepsy or something? I'm just saying. What the hell?
It looks clear to me. Have you had a couple of beers, George?
Maybe.
Okay.
It's like somebody.
I'm interested in what. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was thinking it looks like somebody stuck a behemoth up a Tideseeker's ass.
With the eagle's head on it. It looks like an eagle's head with the coloring of the front of it, and then I see some. Yeah. And what is this thing going to be? Tier 6.75.
I assume it's going to be a super hull, like a Katie's.
6.7. No, those are tier 99.
Oh, right.
This is tier 6.75. So,
okay.
I mean that part confuses me a little bit because I don't know that we need a skirmish hull at this point.
What if they start releasing like player versus player fleet conquerors?
Yeah, that would make it would make sense. I mean, the thing that I think we need the most is something to not do minimum damage in our base. So maybe it's not going to be a ship and a turret. I don't know, but it would be cool if it was a defender, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense. But
okay,
but it would make sense at the same time. It would make sense the fact that I think we need a defender because we have 2 tier 7 defenders out, and we don't have it, or 2 tier 7 conquer hulls and no tier 7 conquerors. I keep on mixing them up.
No tier 7 defenders. Yeah, it could be a defender. Correct. After all, I did think it looked like a behemoth at some point, which were defenders.
Yeah. So, guys, go on there, ask him. Ask him good questions, not troll questions, and
good questions like, did a behemoth violate a Tideseeker?
No, but
that's not a good question.
Someone's going to go and do that now, right?
I would find it fascinating if
you could say the professor made me do
it. Yeah. Can you show the actual video of how this thing was spawned? Yeah. This is.
I think that's on Pornhub.
Everyone blame Larry.
Yep. Okay. Blame Larry. I haven't even told Larry that.
What?
On Friday we're gonna have a wall building competition.
So for a minute there, I thought you were gonna tell him that you were violated by a behemoth.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not even going to mention the Punisher, but we're going to have a wall building contest on Friday. We're not sure what the winner gets, but during the
The winner
We're
gets
not sure what the
president,
we're not sure what the
obviously.
yes, the winner gets the crown is the best wall builder on the crib show. But I just want to see how long. We'll start off and we'll have live look-ins on the competitors as we move along every couple minutes, 10 minutes or so, and we'll figure out how quickly people are able to build walls. Because right now we're asked to build 600 walls and level them up 10 times. So there's 6,000 actions that are asked for, and they take a good amount of time each time. And I just want to throw that out there as a baseline for how long this takes and how asinine this is in the game, where we're trying to streamline things and make things less chore-like. And this is a chore. This is not fun. It's not.
Holsh, you started that alt. Have you upgraded any walls?
No, because that levels you up way too fast. I'm almost already level 50.
Number guy gonna get it.
Yes. So if anybody wants to ask him questions about streamlining of the walls during his show, I don't think that would be a troll question. I would just like to get an honest question out of them. But again, everybody show up for the live wall building competition. I know Lady Cat's going to be in there, but we're still looking for people. So again, we're going to put the link to the show, and anybody that wants to think you can take on Lady Cat in this wall building competition, you're welcome to it. So, all right, I'm done with the wall thing.
Okay, good, because I was falling asleep.
Okay.
Okay, another bit from Rampage. Hefe, why don't you talk about this, because you actually did some testing.
Yeah, well, people were wondering about the lowered cannon mount, and this is what this is about. Rampage jumped onto one of the threads and commented that the developers that are testing the lower counter mount on the new targets, I'm assuming, that we're going to see in the raid, we're seeing a benefit from using it. And earlier today, it was me and Magic Mike and Grimace. We're all on a hangout, and Magic Mike was testing out hitting tier prize pack 3 of the new Path campaign, where you have a raid type target in there, and he autoed the first one with high velocity rounds. And then he autoed the second one with the lower cannon mount. Just to suggest.
Oh, well, here we go.
Yeah.
So here's the comparison.
Yeah, there's the comparison between the two of them. And we only had one repetition of each. It wasn't like we had the ability to keep on repeating it. But the big fear, because of the lower ballistic range, that the Buccaneer would go into the range of the blunderbuss and be destroyed. On auto, that did not happen. We saw about a 10% reduction in damage using the lower cannon mount over the high velocity rounds. So that's basically what we saw.
And I think
I don't know that this is go ahead.
Well, the important question that people were wondering about when they saw this is are they going to be driving into blunderbusses? And I guess by the results of your testing, Hefe, you thought that answer is a no.
Well, it took out the target. I mean, I didn't see any huge drops in damage. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of things going on, and you can't necessarily tell if the blunderbuss is firing. But it was able to kill the target on auto for about between 9 and 10% less damage. So that's positive. and we're not sure how it's done. And this may be more important in the S targets than it would be in the A sets. We're not certain because it's doing more damage. It's higher structure deflection, higher speed. I mean, there's a chance of, as we've seen towards the end of certain raids, that they'll start adding charge or deflection to certain aspects of the target, and maybe this helps overcome them, even though it's not a huge bump in damage. Because it's it's a 10%. It's pretty low. It's multiple. It's 10% and then 15%.
So yeah, with a little multiplier effect, you're probably around 30.
Yeah. So you're doing somewhere around 30% more damage. So it's not huge. It takes just under 23 hours to swap these out, to take out HVR and put in lower counter mount. So if you want to do this and you figure out you want to do it in the raid, because I don't think our results are completely conclusive because of the lack of replication, and 10% is in the noise a little bit. I would save 4 buck tokens and 1 siege token if you find out that they've done something in the S targets or the A targets that requires a quick refit. And I think that's probably the best way to go. I don't, with the results that we saw, I don't automatically say, boom, go ahead and do this, but it's not as bad as everybody thought.
Yeah, that's a good point. And those tokens you just mentioned are available this week in the TLCs.
Yeah. And one other positive that you could do if you do decide to switch to lower cannon mount is that you'd complete the target faster. So if you were autoing A's, you would auto them just a slightly bit faster. So that would save you time overall in the raid too.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that we were because we were expecting, before I looked at high velocity rounds the second time, we were expecting to mow them down. It's doing, it's doing, like I said, it's doing maybe 30% more damage or somewhere in that neighborhood, but it's not mowing them down like I thought they would be. But I guess you could see some speed, time to kill reductions.
The other thing I was thinking about, which is a little more radical, is you could actually use this on a Hydra. My Hydras have high velocity rounds on them for the projectile speed and the damage, because I really like projectile speed. But if you swap it out on a Hydra, you don't get any of the ballistic stuff. You don't get the range penalty. So you get the little bit of increase in damage, you get the deflection, you get the increased combat speed, but you don't get the projectile speed. So I don't know. I'm not going to actually do it, but it was just sort of an interesting thing. You could do it.
Yeah, and I have my bucks, I have basically a dedicated countermeasure ship, and I don't think I'm going to make this change on that ship, at least unless I learn differently, because of the high velocity rounds also speeds up the countermeasures, so their time to encounter any incoming projectile would be reduced. So, and also it would hang back a little bit, because it's going to have actually have 10% more range. It's -20. It's complicated, but you're only actually losing about 10% range as opposed to 20, because it's taking it off the bonus.
It's off the base range, not the. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're only losing about 10%. So it would hang back a little bit, so it's less likely to get hit by the long range projectiles.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting point. I didn't think about that. Yeah. In terms of absolutes, right, you're losing around 10 range instead of 20 range, because your range is around 100. Yeah. Cool. All right. We done with this?
I think so.
All right.
Later, host. We're going to talk about bounty, host. We're going to talk about bounty.
Ooh, I got 77,000. Wow.
How much?
Oh yeah. Let me say one thing. The someone posted on the TFC also, but before the Hydras, but apparently some of the projectiles, like during the base hitting my sloths, whenever they were firing their morts, like it wouldn't show them really firing their mort. It would just like not show them firing, but they were actually firing. It was wonky.
There's a lot of wonky stuff going on right now.
I felt like I saw that in the FM over the last couple weeks sometimes.
Yeah, because it was. I got my base hit today too, and they were like not firing for like a full minute, but they were firing. It was weird.
Yeah.
Just, but y'all have a good night.
Night, Halsh.
Later, Halsh. Say hi to Johnny Manziel.
Okay, so how was Bounty for you guys?
I had a blast.
Yeah, I thought it was amusing and interesting. I mean, it did take a little bit long, depending on how you were doing it, but I did find the replica bases to, at the very least, to be amusing, and I had a good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun. I thought it was a little long. I mean, if you just ground away at those bases, it could go pretty slow.
True. I mean, yeah, and finding the targets, because I think the busier the sector you were in, the more likely you're just going to find hundreds everywhere. And I thought the hundreds as a target were undervalued.
Yeah.
They should have been worth a lot more points for the potential damage that you were going to get. And you might as well have been hitting real player bases if you were going to hit hundreds.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of use Singluts, and they would beat anything that didn't have a Scourge Web, basically.
I thought it was great for a bunch of reasons. I mean, I had fun with the PvP stuff, the PvE stuff. I was hitting bases too, though. I mean, I wanted bounty. I was hitting, and I was greedy. I'll admit it. I didn't get quite as much as I wanted, but what I did really like. Go ahead.
But you did get a pink hull, right?
I did get a pink hull, yes.
Okay, so you're getting pretty high up there in points then.
Yeah. But one of the things that I really liked, because I'm not that great of a base hitter. Actually, I kind of suck at base hitting. I really like the PvE targets because it gave players and me a chance to go in and see different targets and practice base hitting, essentially. It was great. I liked it.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I think kind of exposed the dirty little secret that a lot of bases suck.
Yeah,
and a lot of bases are shaped like this. That was the other weird thing that
what I don't understand is how come I can never find those 100+ bases that are that crappy when I'm actually trying to find bounty and bases. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, I did see some really good freaking level 70 and 80 bases.
Yeah, I saw a few of those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and some of the level 60s were insane. I mean, I'm not even sure, at some points I wish they had like some sort of, not a user ID, but some sort of ID to, a level 62 with OP10, an OP10 gun, portals, and phantom gluts that were one-shotting my bus. Yeah, that was
I didn't.
That was questionable.
I didn't hit a lot of the 60s. Like I was trying to hit 81 up because that's where the transition was. But I was autoing at one point. I had an onslaught on its own, going around and autoing stuff. If I was doing, because I was also doing chores, I was trying to cram in as much as I could. And I think I told you this in the last show, Hefe. I died. My onslaught died in a fucking level like 58 or 62 or something like that, and it had those new vanquishes in it. And I was like, son of a bitch. It was interesting. I'd say it was interesting that they actually were doing a dynamic copy too. That was very interesting.
Yeah, we didn't even know it was possible, and it worked out. every time they introduce a new mechanic, it usually results in things just going horribly wrong. But they use a new mechanic in the game, and it actually worked quite well. I mean, because it's normally new mechanics don't work that well, and this worked surprisingly well.
That's an excellent point, Hefe.
Mm.
All right, we done talking bounty. Oh, I was gonna move here. I'm gonna go out of order in the slides because I want to talk a couple things on the missile cruiser, and then we'll come back to all these TLCs. So, if you got the missile cruiser, and I actually saw some posts from a lot of people who were in my boat, boat, where they were between 55 and 65K in their score on the bounty. And the new hull was 45K, the new missile was 10K, right? So that's 55K, and if you want this new precision missile system special, you needed 65K. Well, I didn't have it, and I went for the missile and the hull, and was quite pleased with the results. And one of the things that made it okay is instead of precision missile system, I used aft razor foils on my build. And so you can see the stats here side by side, right? You get a little bit less accuracy, and then you get building damage instead of penetrating damage, which means you're not as good against ships. But what you get instead is precision missile system doesn't stack with a lot of things. That's why I got this little question mark here. Sorry, I just pulled that. Aft razor foils, you can stack it with interception system, which gives you 45% penetrating damage and 20% speed. You get the carbon fiber casing, which gives you damage and reload. I think it's 60 damage and 35% reload. Or strike warheads, which gets you 55% damage. So it's kind of an interesting trade, and also aft razor foils are lighter. So I just thought this was kind of interesting to point out. People are saying, "Oh, I didn't get enough for the special for it all, so should I just take onslaughts?" And I think the answer is no. Definitely, the hull and the weapon together are still really good, and I can vouch for it in practice. They're pretty good, even if you don't have precision missile system.
But would you just go for the ship?
So the ship without the missile is interesting because I think the ship without the missile is vulnerable to epic cap mortars. And so I don't know. I mean,
because people were, as opposed to getting like the example, like somebody that was going to get the onslaught and the whole kit associated,
Right. If you want to build a base hitter, I think the ship without the missile's kind of useless. And you'll be waiting another month till you can get the missile. If you want to build a base hitter, I think if you only have 45K, I would go onslaught in its kit. So.
Yeah, because you could get 3 onslaughts at that point.
Yeah.
And build them up, rank them up, and do whatever. I mean, the worst advice that I thought I was seeing was, like, old advice was get the weapon in the special. And, like, get the new weapon in special. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do with the next weapon in special for the next month? You're not going to do anything with them, right?
But you can get the hull out. Yep.
Yeah. Or you get the onslaught and the whole kit, and your next bounty is going to be much easier for you.
Yep.
At that 45K point. So, yeah, it's.
Yeah. And then, Hefe, I was making this slide up before the show, and you were pointing to my use of the AOT on this build. And so, you have 2 missile specials to choose from here. You have AOT, which gives you the accuracy, the speed, and the range. And then the advanced guidance system, which is Conqueror only, doesn't give you as much accuracy, and it doesn't give you the speed, but it does give you the flak evade bonus, an extra 30% flak evade. And so with players putting phalanx and whatnot in their base to try and protect against these missile cruisers, maybe advanced guidance system's a better choice.
But also, a lot of the Conquerors have like very low evade numbers to negative, like what's the Omni, like negative 320. So the penetrative accuracy is on some of these halls doesn't play as much as you would think it would, and might play much differently if people are using Conquerors as their patrol. Where they could actually get their evade up high, and because I think the D55, the X, the new missile, I think it only has a base accuracy of 70.
Sounds right.
Yeah, maybe that would make a difference, but I think the inherent special, if you go back one slide, has a penetrative accuracy bonus of 50%.
Yeah.
So that's why I was using precision missile system as opposed to aft razor foils when I made that decision to use that as my missile extender special. Because then it's sort of, it all comes out in the wash as far as those two things.
Yep. Any comments, George?
No, I don't have time to build this yet, so I'm trying. It's slow building. By the time they come out, we're gonna have raid, and then whatever's coming after. I'm sure by the time I get them out, it's not gonna be a click at the back of the base thing anymore.
Oh yeah. See, I saved all my tokens from March to War, so I popped 2 out right away.
I didn't have time to run that one. I haven't been able to do a lot of the TLCs lately. I just don't have the time.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I try and do I try and keep up with all my chore shit, on auto, and I've been focusing on that damn FM. I wanted to get my dragons out, and that's what I was kind of concentrating on. And now I'm like, oh, I got to do my Buckies. I don't know when the hell I'm going to build my Hydras. I still got to do TLCs. I don't know.
Yeah,
the time crunch sucks.
Yeah, I hear you. I was I mean, in terms of shipyard, I've been focusing on my Hydras and Buckies, and have mine actually done as of yesterday, and then
nice.
But so I haven't touched Inferno Dragons. I've got 3 empty shells. So
mine are about they'll be done in the next day or 2, I think.
Yeah.
So have you been doing any testing with them?
Oh yeah, lots and lots of testing. Lots of testing.
Yeah, I think I saw one of your videos.
I got it down. I did one today with the Savage and the 4 of them together, and it was just under 50 minutes of damage. So,
okay.
But on the other hand, we also don't know how strong the target's going to be when it goes full strength. So, who the hell knows at this point?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me go back to the rest of the slides. Okay, so other big news, and following up on the bounty, which I think was generally well received by a lot of players. They did another thing that I think is going to be generally well received by a lot of players, which is put some charged armor in the FM at very reasonable prices.
I'm actually kind of surprised at the prices. This is such a good move.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it because I know Ren already spilt the beans and the other thing, and Larry's probably not gonna want to say it, but this was brought up in the town hall, and Hefe's making cigarettes and having beer. This is brought up in the town hall a lot, and the town hall players asked about this a lot, and I'm very, very happy to see this come in because these are some of the armors that players need to do just the chores on the map, and that they're in here is great, and that they're at that low of a price is great. I just wish that 5 was a 10 or a 15. That's all I wish. It's the only thing that I have a problem with.
Yeah, I mean, this gets you a fleet with 1 each, right? And that's okay, I mean, it's not it's not high end, but it's okay. And I think if all these were bumped like one price point to the right, none of us would have been surprised, right? If it was $60K for the CO and CT and like $300K for the M's and the X's,
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't have been shocked. No.
Right. So I think these are really good prices, and you can build a fleet with one each, and that'll get you rolling, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that they're in here. The price is. I actually was kind of taken aback at the price. That was great.
Yeah.
Continue doing this sort of thing, Kixeye.
Thank you, Kixeye. Speaking of other good things, Charged Path. This is one of the TLCs released this week. It's got more charged armor, R and C charged armor, which is what you need for the raid, and then Siege class tokens, which you also need for the raid. And this one is a co-op one, and I'll say for top end players, this is really easy. So you can either do this, or hopefully you can ask a friend to do this, and they'll be like, "Sure, this is pretty easy."
Hey Larry, you wanna help me out with this TLC?
Sure, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
All you gotta do is fire it up. The first one is Phoenix target. My Phoenix did great. There's one of those Rudolph Red-Nose ships in there, but you can pin it pretty easy, and it doesn't have the charged on it, so it goes down pretty quick.
Nice.
And then Prize Pack 2 is really straightforward Fang target. We've seen it a lot, and again, if you're decent with your Fangs, you can do this for low to no damage.
So not for Liam. Like, we have to help Liam out for that one.
Yeah, if Liam asks me for help, I will help him. I'll say that publicly.
I'll hook him up. I'll hook him up. He had a bad day today. I'll hook him up.
Okay, that's too bad. And then Prize Pack 3 is Siege. I did it with the Hydras, again, for very low damage. I think people with Buckies are having similar success. So, again, straightforward. Do it or ask for help, because this is critical stuff. And especially if you don't have the other specials, right? Siege Battery 4, Ion Thrusters, and the CL3.
Yeah, from the tech up. So on Prize Pack 3, you did it with Hydras, but so the target's balanced enough so you can use either fleet, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
See, that's good. That's a very, very good thing to know. I like that. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I think on 1, the Phoenix are probably better than the Skyfires, and then 2, definitely Fangs over Hydra Hunters, but yeah, 3's pretty balanced.
Good. Excellent.
All right, and then Hunter Games. This is an old one. What was it? Reaver style targets, I guess. For is it Reavers? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It's
so long since I hit it. Yeah.
I did the first one of these. It's like the low end skirmish targets. So yeah, I don't know. If you don't have hunters, maybe you can do this with Tide Seekers or something. Assault fleets. I'm sorry.
Assault fleets. I was gonna say, if people don't have hunters, I would really recommend this, because the hunters are doing pretty well on auto in the 102s for the uranium on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing, I would combine this TLC with the other one. I mean, personally, I only put 3 charged armors on my skirmish level fleets, and between this target, where you can get, at least the way I read it, you can get 16 CT armors.
Yes.
Yeah. And all of the tokens that are coming out for both your Hunter and your Fangtooth, you can, between the tokens and the extra charged armors, you can really max out your skirmish fleets if you haven't done that already, by putting all the escalation weapons on, all the charged armors, and create the best skirmish fleet that you can, and not spend any gold or generic build tokens,
or really shipyard time, because you get these.
or shipyard times, just boom out the door.
Yep.
And that's what I for the so it's two different reasons. For low and mid-level players, just getting these, it's great, or returning players, but also for almost high-end players, that haven't maximized it or want to play around with these builds and want to figure out if this works better than that. You got a lot of resources to do it. Huh?
Yeah, and with like for you're talking about hidden depths as well as when you talk about the other one, and yeah, I mean, I didn't do it this time, but last time hidden depths came around, I tweaked all my Fang 2s to get more escalation weapons on and a little bit more of that. So yeah, these are definitely helpful for a lot of people. And then the other thing is, I'm going to do this again, right? Because these have the skirmish class tokens in them at the mastery level. So you can hang on to those till the next time skirmish comes around.
Mm-hmm.
So there.
Yeah. If it ever comes around again, you never know. They change things on us.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right, and then this one's actually Herculean, not hidden depths, I think.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and this one's hidden depths. And then so if you're behind on Hydras,
me.
Yeah,
no,
you can.
Yeah. This one is Herculean. Yes.
Oh, this one's Herculean. Okay.
Yeah.
With the Hydra ones, the only thing is that is such a pain in the ass TLC to do, man.
It's not simple. The last ones are pretty tough. The damage, they're pretty buffed. But if you're a good Fang driver, you can do this without gold.
And I think Hefe had mentioned it before. There are some of these, like this one right here. Look, I understand you guys want us to have some damage. Just put in like 1 or 2 targets so I don't have to spend freaking 5 hours just getting through the damn thing. Crying out loud. Damage me and let me get it done in like 10 minutes because I have other shit in the game that I have to do, like, the rest of the chores in the fucking game.
Try to figure out 117s.
Yeah. That's another possibility, Rum. Yeah, because it's I mean, I've mentioned it like a zillion times. As far as I hate 7 targets in an hour, I would rather just can we escalate to the last 2 or 3? The last ones at the end, as opposed to just this manic thing that goes on trying to get 7 done. If you're trying to do it without in a certain way. I mean, certain people seem to be able to just run through them. And, oh yeah, I did all 7 in 20 minutes, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not sure, how many coins you spent on that, and I'm not sure how much fun that would be to try to beat the target if you're, because I don't think you can do 7 of these targets in half an hour without just taking massive damage.
Yeah, the one tip on these Fangtooth campaigns is that when Silent Hunter's crew really helps.
Yeah, between the critical and the
speed,
because your critical will go up to from 12 to 20%, and then you get another 8%. No, it's 10% speed and 8% critical. So they're helpful. I mean, the other one that's helpful is not the Deadeye Destroyer, not the Bullseye. The Deadeye is achievable, and that gives you about twice the critical.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, and then let's see. Is there anything else? Yeah, there's more stuff. Oh, this is PvP.
We already did that.
Oh.
Now we're all confused. Didn't you skip a couple?
Well, yeah, I went to the end there. I just wanted.
Hey, let's go back to the icebreaker.
Because I wasn't on last week, I missed this one. So, I think it's great to talk about icebreakers, and I really like icebreakers.
Yeah. They're I know. I think Raptor that's in the chat. I think he actually took his icebreakers and he's put the new rockets on them. So
I heard that. I heard that wasn't all that good because the DPS per weight isn't that great.
Yeah, I think said he was getting about 2.5 hours per target, which is not. I don't think it's a huge improvement from what I heard over the siege ones, but yeah, he said. But he's gotten his he's gotten them on his dragons down too. But again, we have so many freaking tokens. I mean, how many icebreaker tokens do we have? You know,
I have all I want.
I'm sure Magic Mike has 90. I'm pretty sure Magic Mike has 99. So yeah, it's one of those things that you can play around with as far as figuring out how to use your icebreakers, especially after the retrofit. So
yeah. I've been working on my monos instead of my icebreakers just because I still use them in the FM. That's my go-to. But I'll do these eventually.
I mean, that's all my icebreaker knowledge. I was just trying to, allow you to keep the slide up as long as possible. But
I mean, I refit one recondite over the Siege V on my icebreakers. And actually, I think my damage went up a little bit. I auto like 82s and 89s with them.
Okay.
I think my damage went up a little with one recondite instead of the Siege V. So I guess I should put it back.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I sort of like this whole the ability to experiment with some of these older halls. I wish we had it a little bit sooner before they're like almost completely out the door. But I think it is fun for, a lot of these, like I said before, a lot of these TLCs are put in for players returning to the game or newer players. But as far as more established players, it's sort of fun to, like, okay, I have, 60 days I can screw around with this fleet if I want to and test it and play around with it. It may not be the most constructive use of your time, but I don't know. I sort of like the whole idea of being able to mess around with my fleets for free and test them out. So.
All right, I think we've strung out this icebreaker talk about as long as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably getting close to getting hypothermia at this point. The number of times she's been doused in ice cold ice water.
All right.
Larry would warm her up. What's wrong with you?
I know. Miss Professor would have no part of that.
Mrs. Professor would have a problem with that.
She would have a problem with that.
The population.
And we also noticed that the panda's gone. What happened to the panda? Did it get sent to lockup?
No, panda. I don't know where the panda went.
Yes, last show 2 weeks ago, it was getting violated by your new dog.
I was gonna say the dog's got it somewhere.
And then last week, the dog violated my toe.
Oh man. TMI.
Or we hope he just
with
bit
his
you.
Teeth. Oh, he drew blood. It was awful.
So you're saying that the dog's a biter then? Okay.
Well, he's
too much information.
He's got some behavior issues. We're working on it.
That's such a political way to say it.
Very, very Clinton-esque, as people, would say.
He's a delightful little dog, except when he isn't.
What kind of dog?
Shih Tzu.
Aye.
With sharp little teeth.
Your toe is proof.
Yeah.
All right.
Progress done on the 117s?
I have been doing testing all week. I should have, hopefully tomorrow, Friday, a final build after a few more tests. I'm still swapping.
You're happy with?
The one that I did today or this morning, and I still had one of the dragons still had an RA3 on it, but I pulled just under 50 minutes running with a Savage. And I charged it too. I went up the right hand side, came around, went in the gate, and then just blew everything up in the middle. So
once again, an old hull is key.
So far, yes. I have not run it today without the Savage. I should probably do that now. I think they're repaired. Yeah, I could probably do it now.
So, are you doing it with 4 boats, or well, not including the Savage? Are you doing it with 4 dragons or less?
4 dragons. I mean, I ran just 2 dragons last night, the night before, I think, and it was like 2.5 hours with just 2 of them.
Do you have
on their own?
You're happy with?
In
Because I heard
terms
the
of
2.5 hours on 2 boats was one of the things that you came up with. Or I read that, or I watched it.
Yeah, I mean, that was just testing between. The reason why I ran 2 of them, or the reason why I put that up is because I had said on the other show that I had done a 117 with just 2, and everyone's like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Well, once you get the charged armor on it and you get the build decent, I mean, they're not ranked. They're still not ranked. I think the highest ranking one I have is Specialist 1 or 2. And so I just ran 2 of them to test out between. Or what I was doing was running 2 of them, one with the MX3 and one with RA3, and swapping their positions back and forth and seeing what was going on. Because I was getting the first couple times I did it, I was getting some really weird results. And I recorded one of them and put it up. But yeah, I mean, 2 of them can pull off a 117 now. It's 2.5 hours of damage, and when you get 4 of them, your time to kill goes down, so you're not getting shot at as much.
Yeah, it reminds me of the first time I had twins over, but people are gonna have to listen back, as far as what he actually said. But
come
hey,
at me,
Mike.
bro.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
Oh, just great. Bet I'll get
Very
better.
good. Cool.
Okay. Well, Hefe, you post up after show and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I posted a link in case anybody wanted to. We still got 4 more minutes. 4 hard minutes.
Oh, I need to get back off now.
No,
Actually, I kind of want to know. I want to know who was that bored that they put a T-shirt on a manatee.
You haven't seen that commercial?
No.
You haven't? Oh,
It's a Geico commercial. I mean, I showed it to Mike a couple of nights ago, and he's
And he busted out.
I'm still.
Yes, he was
He
quite amused
loved
by
it. He just kept laughing.
Just look it up on YouTube and watch it. You'll get a kick out of it. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Come at me, bro.
Manatees and novelties. Yes.
Oh God.
It's crazy.
Yes. Hey Ed, how are you doing? Okay. All right. Well,
they fixed the FM yet?
They said
Nope.
They said that they had fixed part of it, I think.
Nope. Still
yeah,
locked.
They fixed it for some. Mine's not locked, so they said they fixed it for some players, but not all. And I guess Kickside loves you so much. I was part of the first group, so
Okay.
That was surprising. But yeah, I guess we can end everything. I mean, everybody seems. I just hope things go according to what everybody thinks is going on. As far as everything went well with the bounty, I agree with that. I think the whole FM thing is still up in the air. Whether that's going to be, if they push the button on that this week or after this raid, I think that's going to be a shitstorm. Unless they do things that are still allow our players to basically achieve the same thing with the same amount of effort. If they increase that for players that don't have fully built dragons, it's not going to go well, at least in my opinion, because I don't think there's enough of those players out there.
Yeah.
But that's because they've been vague, at least in my opinion, as far as when they're going to make a change to the FM. And I think a lot of people would be, I don't know.
I mean, I know they said that they had said that it was going to be in in March, right? So the problem I have is I don't know that anyone's going to have like, I mean, I'll have them done, but that's because that's all I've been doing. And I don't know that the majority of the players that even have the hull, because a lot of players didn't get the hull, how's that transition going to happen? Because right now we're in the quote unquote transition time. We have the 115 and the 117 on the map, and the 117 isn't at full strength. Rather than take the 115 off after the raid, right? Or the week after, I guess we have 2 weeks after the raid, right? Left in March. What do we have?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we have 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks after the FM. I mean, after the raid, right? The raid's next week, and we have two FMs after that in March. I would like to maybe say if they're gonna hit a button, maybe hit the button to go, hey, all right, the 117s are gonna be at full strength after the raid, and you guys still have like another 2-3 weeks before we take the 115 away. Something a little bit softer than just here's the transition. Good luck, to everybody, and because we still have 3 weeks left in March, and they said in March, but I'm not sure that anyone's ready.
No, and you're also talking about, I mean, a number of people that are ready for the 115 is one thing. The number of people that are ready for it still sounds really too quick for me. It sounds like, I mean, watching players hit these bases or hit the 115s and nobody's ready. I mean, again, not nobody's ready, but it's the amount of people that are ready and the amount of people that you're going to piss off I don't think that, I'm hoping they're not removing the 115s. I think they're just, gelding the 115s and making them worth less points.
But whatever they're going to do, whatever they're going to do, we need to see what the 117 really is going to be at full strength before they take away any other options, right? I mean, I'll admit mine are very close to done. I'm actually enjoying the target because I can just blast through the damn thing. The only annoyance is at the start because I have to run the damn Savage, which is a pain in the ass. Other than that,
yeah, and the Savage hasn't been released in a couple of years, so yeah, it's and you're getting 50%.
Some people don't have the Savage.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be included. So yeah, I'm a little bit. I mean, if they released it so quickly, I wouldn't be happy personally. And I know that's big on their list of making me happy, but it's just not. I don't think it would make a lot of players happy to basically, people that have just reached, because a lot of people just reached the 115 or just reached it a couple months ago, and we don't have a path forward associated with what's going to happen in another 4 months, as far as like we're supposed to change this like every 3 times a year, and they need to make a good path associated with that. They don't need to have this murky path.
But I think that's why they said that's why Rampage said that the flag isn't going to get released for a while. I think that they changed that 3. I'm hoping anyway that they changed that 3 hulls a year crap to something else, and it's going to revolve around that flagship. I don't know, because I sure as hell don't want to build three fleets every fucking year just for the FM.
Yeah. I mean, it's good enough reason, that would be a good question for people to ask, on Rampage Live, or Live Rampage, as I like to call it, on Facebook on Friday, 5:00 Eastern, 2:00 Kickside time, and I think it's midnight in the UK. We don't have anybody here to confirm that, but yeah, it would be a good question. These are the kind of questions that or the kind of answers that we need from Kicks, as far as I'm concerned, as far as like how things are going to move forward, and how you're going to plan what you're going to build and what you're going to do, and what your expectations are for the game. So, we went to 8:03. unless anybody has any parting words, I'm going to post the link, and we can end the show, and we'll all do the ice bucket challenge in a t-shirt in the after show. yeah. Larry's been practicing, So anybody have anything else before we go off the air?
Should
Good
be good.
night.
Night, everybody.
Later, people. See you on Friday for the wall building challenge. Be the champion. Be our champion. Be the
Build that
champion
wall.
Yes, build that wall. I mean, that guy needs some help building that wall, and we need to find the experts to help him do that.